Welcome back to Poorly Educated Today in the News, the only show where we break down national affairs using the same strategic tools our Uncle Ricky uses to decide which gas station burrito looks least radioactive. Folks, it is December 20th, 2025, and the country is in what the experts call a moment of strategic reconstitution. Meanwhile, my cousin calls it Tuesday. But don't worry, we're going to walk through the biggest developments shaping the nation, from document dumps to missile dumps to economic dumps that smell like somebody left the milk out since July. So crack open the nearest off-brand dew, adjust your tinfoil hat for proper reception, and let's get poorly educated. Segment 1. The Great File Dump. America opens a big can of transparency. The federal government dropped a mountain of sealed investigative paperwork so big it makes my Aunt Rhonda's laundry pile look manageable. Over 100,000 pages got released yesterday, and apparently politicians from both parties voted for this transparency like they suddenly remembered honesty was in the Constitution. The only dissenting vote was one guy from Louisiana who said all this openness might hurt innocent witnesses. Buddy, have you seen Congress? That ship sailed when dial-up internet did. But here's the fun part. The people immediately took the release and turned it into a political rodeo. On one side, you've got Republicans hollering, "Look at these old photos with Clinton in random swimming pools." And on the other side, Democrats are screaming, "Release everything or it's a cover-up." And then there's Trump proudly pointing at a 3-decade-old picture of himself like it's a newborn baby, saying, "See, that's me being innocent." It's all one big partisan carnival ride, except the ride operator is smoking and looks like he hasn't slept since the Bush administration. Now, apparently judges even approved releasing grand jury records. Grand jury records. That's like telling every redneck in town their old Facebook messages from 2011 are going public. Suddenly, everybody pretends they never wrote, "I'm outside, come out," to 5 different gas stations. We're setting new precedents here. Maximum transparency, minimum dignity. And I'm proud to say America is pretty good at that balance. Segment 2. Operation Hawkeye Strike. When peace through strength sounds like a revenge tour. Moving overseas, the U.S. military launched something called Operation Hawkeye Strike, which sounds like a Tom Clancy title your grandpa reads while pretending to nap. This was a giant multi-day smackdown against ISIS targets in Syria, after a lone gunman ambushed a joint convoy and killed 2 service members and a civilian interpreter. President Trump promised very serious retaliation, and brother, he delivered like Amazon Prime before layoffs. We're talking fighter jets, Apaches, Warthogs, HIMARS, basically everything short of throwing the Washington Monument at somebody. Even Jordan hopped in with F-16s, which is kinda like your neighbor saying, "Mind if I borrow your riding mower?" and then helping you plow half the county. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth called it a declaration of vengeance, which, if we're being honest, is exactly how every redneck I know describes going back to a restaurant that once messed up their order. The message is simple. Hit us, and we hit back so hard your grandkids feel it. But the real twist? Syria's new government is suddenly our friend. Remember when they weren't? Well, now they are. Foreign policy is basically redneck family drama. One year we're feuding at Christmas. Next year we're borrowing each other's ladders again. Segment 3. Venezuela Blockade. The return of blow it up until they surrender diplomacy. While all that's happening in Syria, the U.S. is also in the Caribbean doing a blockade so aggressive it would make a pirate blush. We're talking seizing tankers, blowing up boats, and telling Venezuela's Navy, Come escort your oil. We dare you. Cuba called it piracy. Venezuela called it a grotesque threat. And the White House called it Friday. Chief of Staff Susie Wiles said the U.S. will keep blowing boats up until Maduro cries uncle, which is the most redneck foreign policy sentence I've ever heard. That's something my cousin Bubba says when raccoons get into his trash cans. And to add seasoning to the chili, fentanyl is now classified as a WMD, meaning the drug war just got upgraded from police matter to Avengers-level threat. The Gulf Clan cartel got designated a terrorist organization, which tells me somebody finally realized these cartels aren't exactly running charity bake sales. This is maximum pressure with a capital "What are we doing?" But hey, if it works, I'll take it. Segment 4. The economy. The K-shaped nightmare and the warrior dividend. Domestically, the economy is doing that weird thing where it's up, down, sideways, and cha-cha sliding all at the same time. Stocks are booming like fireworks on the 4th of July. But regular folks are still asking why groceries cost more than their car payments. Economists call it a K-shaped recovery. I call it, the rich folks get Amazon drones, and the rest of us still use a gas station air pump. President Trump announced something called the Warrior Dividend, $1,776 for service members, because nothing says patriotism like a check themed after the year we whooped the British. He announced it in prime time, too. That's when you know the White House wants applause. Critics say it's a political stunt. Maybe it is. But if my bank account gets a surprise deposit, I am not asking philosophical questions. I will buy beef jerky so expensive it comes in a lockbox. Now the bad news. ACA premiums are about to go up again because expanded tax credits are expiring. Millions will see higher bills, and voters are kinda over it. If health insurance were a person, we'd have broken up years ago. Segment 5. Science, Space, and AI. America's brainiest soap opera. Technology is having a moment. GPT-5 has officially reached PhD-level intelligence, which means it's smarter than half the people arguing online about whether it's smart. Its reasoning, accuracy, and context window are so big they could store every recipe my grandma refuses to write down. But the AI boom also sparked an AI hype correction, where investors discovered that building massive supercomputers is expensive. Who knew? Meanwhile, China supposedly reverse-engineered advanced chip-making tech, meaning the global semiconductor race is turning into NASCAR but with lasers. Other breakthroughs include quantum error reduction, new observations of an interstellar visitor with weird nickel-no-iron chemistry, and bionic hands that respond instantly. Which is great, because at this rate, America will need robot hands to open grocery bags that apparently now cost 42 cents each. Segment 6. The Great Federal Snow Day. Washington takes a 4-day nap. The president just gave federal workers December 24th and 26th off, creating a 4-day weekend so long even Santa's jealous. Washington is calling it a morale booster, which is government speak for everybody's exhausted and we don't want a mutiny. Critics say it's political theater, but honestly, Congress hasn't worked a full week between Thanksgiving and New Year's since the Stone Age. The executive order basically tells every agency to go home, drink cocoa, and pretend the year didn't happen. Of course, essential personnel still have to show up, because somebody has to keep the lights on while everyone else is watching Hallmark movies. Supporters say it's a nice gesture, and opponents say it's a distraction. But the poorly educated truth is, both sides like free days off. Meanwhile, every redneck in America is wondering why the government needs an order to take a nap. We just fall asleep in a recliner like normal people. Either way, Washington is powering down for a mini holiday. And frankly, after the year they've had, they might not power back up until mid-January. In conclusion, America on December 20th is a wild blend of transparency crusades, missile-launching diplomacy, economic gymnastics, technological moonshots, and Hoosier basketball pride. We're in a season of transformation, the kind where everything is shifting faster than my cousin Earl when someone yells, "Free biscuits," at Golden Corral. But through it all, we here at Poorly Educated will keep digging, joking, and trying to make sense of a world that sometimes feels like a washing machine stuck on spin. Until next time, keep your mind open, your boots muddy, and your expectations low. This has been Poorly Educated Today in the News.